No, it is.
Okay. Mr. Thompson, can you hear me?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. I'm Judge Webster. With us is Mr. Regier and Deputy Ruth. We'll go on the record now in 2023 TR 512, State of Kansas versus John F. Thompson. Mr. Jared Regier, Assistant Butler County Attorney, appearing for the state. Mr. John F. Thompson appearing in person and pro se. This matter does come on for hearing of a bench trial requested by the defendant for the charge of speeding 90. It is 65 as issued on February 2nd, 2023 by Butler County Sheriff's Deputy Brandon Ruth, who appears here today on subpoena. Mr. Thompson, you're still wishing your rights to a bench trial, is that correct?
Yes, because I wasn't speeding. I was stopped in Augusta at a stoplight
All right.
and was told that I was speeding. I was coming out of Lyons, Kansas. So there's no record of me speeding.
Very well, I will accept that as your opening statement as to what you think the evidence will show. Mr. Regier, have you any opening statement?
Your Honor, the state would waive opening argument at this time.
All right, would you like to proceed with your first witness?
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls Deputy Brandon Ruth to the stand.
Please raise your right hand, Deputy. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well, you may lower your hand, and Mr. Regier, you may proceed with your questions. Now, before he does so, Mr. Thompson, since you're here on your own, I will explain that Mr. Regier, on behalf of the state, will ask his witness questions. Then you will get a chance to question the witness, just questions only. And then when the state is through with their evidence, you'll get a chance to present your evidence, that is, testify on your own behalf if you want. You don't have to, but you're welcome to if you want. So now Mr. Regier is going to ask his witness questions. Please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please state your name for the record.
Brandon Ruth,
Where are you employed?
the Butler County Sheriff's Office,
And what is your professional title?
Deputy Sheriff,
And how long have you worked as an officer?
7 years with the Sheriff's Office.
And before that?
Before that, I was military police in the U.S. Army for just over 6.
Okay. And were you on active duty in your professional capacity on February 2nd of this year at approximately 8:10 p.m.?
Yes,
And at that time, where were you at?
I believe that's about the time that I stopped the vehicle in Augusta city limits.
And is that in Butler County?
Yes,
And were you in a vehicle or on foot?
I was in a vehicle, I believe a Ram 1500.
And were you moving at the time?
Well, at that time, I believe that's when I stopped the vehicle there in Augusta, so no,
Okay. And what direction were you facing, if you recall?
west.
When you say you were in close to Augusta in the city limits, could you please describe your immediate surroundings?
It was, I would say, since 7th Street is a business district, it's, I believe, 4 lanes, 2 going east, 2 going west. They're connected right there.
Okay. And are there any trees nearby in this area?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. And this road, I think you said 77 is this a paved road in this location?
Well, that'd be the 7th Street or 7th Avenue. I'm not sure if it's street or not. It's a paved road.
And at this point, I think you said, just to reiterate, this is a road where it has two streets going east and two streets going west.
Yes,
So is this road a highway, at least at this point?
I believe that the state would define it as a highway, yes.
Okay. Are you familiar with KSA 8-1558?
Yes.
And what does that say about drivers and maximum speed limits?
That is the fastest speed that they can operate on that road, and they are posted, as well as certain roads also have a statutorily regulated speed if they're not posted.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, I respectfully request the court take judicial notice of KSA 8-1558.
Judicial notice is taken.
Deputy, do you consider yourself capable of identifying traffic violations when you see them?
Yes,
So you've already talked about your 7 years of experience with the sheriff's office. And I believe you mentioned 6 years of military police before that. So 13 years overall, it sounds like. Do you have any other recurring training in this regard?
every year we're required to do 40 hours of law enforcement related training every year. And I believe each year we do have some sort of course on specifically radar.
Okay. And so going back to the date and time that February 2nd, 2023 at 8:10 p.m., did you see any acts that you consider traffic violations?
Yes, I observed a vehicle that was going over the posted maximum speed limit.
Okay. And can you please, do you recall the make or model of this vehicle?
I believe it was a 2018 Chrysler 300, I believe silver in color.
And was this Chrysler traveling quickly or slowly?
Quickly.
Besides your own senses, did you use any specialized equipment to check the Chrysler's speed?
Yes, I used the radar that's mounted in my vehicle, a Stalker 2X, I believe.
Okay. And are you certified to use Stalker radar?
Yes,
And do you use testing on Stalker radar to check that it's working?
yes. Before and, well, I don't want to say at the end of shift, but prior to using it for the day, I do test it.
Okay. And what do you happen to do if the Stalker radar happens to not be working properly?
If it's out of what the tuning forks allow, I would not use it for that day, and I would send an email to my supervisor informing them that it was inoperative so we could get a work order in to get it replaced.
Okay. And does Stalker radar require daylight to function properly?
No,
Okay. Is there a reason why it doesn't require this?
it uses the Doppler effect. It shoots a radio signal out of the antenna, so it doesn't require any sort of light or visible means that a human eye can detect anyway.
Okay. Now you've already discussed that you do testing on the Stalker radar before every shift. Did you perform that testing before your shift on February 2nd of this year?
Yes,
Can you confirm that the Chrysler you had previously referred to was specifically clocked by your Stalker radar system?
it was the only vehicle that was visible to me on the road going in the same direction I was, and that was the mode that the front antenna was set on.
So you were driving behind the Chrysler, but headed in the same direction?
Correct.
At this location, what is the posted speed?
65.
And what speed did the Stalker radar measure the Chrysler traveling?
It went from anywhere between 80 and 90 miles an hour, and at 90 is where I ended up locking it in at.
Okay, so ultimately a difference of 25 miles per hour?
Correct.
What happened after you measured the Chrysler speed?
Well, due to that highway, I don't feel like it's necessarily safe to immediately stop it there simply for the fact that there may be hills and it being dark and they may not see me. So I waited about another mile and a half, and then ran the tag of the vehicle just before coming into Augusta city limits so I could stop it there. So it was safer for both him and myself.
Okay, and did you conduct a traffic stop after this mile had passed?
Yes.
Okay, and the time for that you, and that time period from where you originally clocked the Chrysler's speed to when you pulled them off, did you remain in Butler County that entire time?
Yes.
Once you conducted the stop, were you able to identify the driver of the Chrysler?
Yes. I identified him with his driver's license.
Okay. Do you see the driver of the Chrysler present in this Zoom conference?
I see part of him right now, but it is the gentleman that has the identifier of John Thompson on his video.
Okay. Your Honor, let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
The record shall so reflect.
Deputy, were you ever able to speak to the defendant?
Yes.
And did you discuss the defendant speeding at the time?
Yes, I informed him for the reason why I stopped him.
And how did the defendant respond to that?
I believe he said he was going to Wichita. He didn't really give an exact reason for the excessive speed.
Okay. And did you ever write the defendant a citation for speeding?
Yes.
And did the defendant have any response to that?
I think I just pretty much explained the back of it and what it was for and asked him if he had any questions, and I don't believe he did.
Barring any redirect, no further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. And now, Mr. Thompson, it's not quite your time to testify, but do you have any questions? Questions only. Deputy Ruth?
Yeah, I may have one or two questions. With the tracking system that you have, Mr. Ruth, is there any video of that?
Well, there's not video inside the vehicle that would show the display of the radar unit, if that's what you're asking.
No, I'm talking about video that would actually show the car itself.
Yes, yes.
So you do have that video.
It's in evidence on one of their servers at the sheriff's office, yes.
Well, it seems to me that why would you not have brought that information with you?
I mean,
Why would you
Your
not,
Honor,
why would you have not brought that information with you? Because
objection,
right
Your Honor.
now,
Hang
it's
on,
not
Mr.
showing any
Thompson.
burden of proof. That's a
Excuse
question.
me.
There's nothing to object
Okay,
to.
but
I
there's-
asked the question. Why didn't he bring the video?
Yes, sir. But there was an objection raised by Mr. Regier, so I need to hear what his objection is. I need to rule on it, and then we'll go from there. So what is your objection, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, the defendant appears to be making a motion for discovery. That has not, as far as I'm aware, there has not been a motion for discovery filed with the court, so that issue is not presently before the court.
No, I don't think that's quite what he's doing. He's asking, why didn't the deputy include it in your case? And I don't know that the deputy can answer that. Mr. Thompson, it's Mr. Regier that decides what evidence he wants to present. And if he didn't tell the deputy to bring the video, that would be on Mr. Regier, not the deputy.
Well,
That's
it's
something-
still
But that's an argument you can make at the appropriate time.
okay.
But if you want to go ahead, I'll tell you what, I'm going to overrule the objection and let you ask him. But again, he's probably not going to be able to tell you, but I don't know.
I just asked why did he not bring that as visible proof? Because this is the
All right, don't argue
responsibility.
yet. Whoa. Deputy, his question is, why did you not bring the video with you?
I do have it on my tablet. If that would appease the court, I could possibly do a screen share.
Okay, so in other words, you do have it with you.
Correct.
All right, there you go, Mr. Thompson. He does have it with him. Your next question?
Can he provide that? Is he saying he's going to provide that
Don't
information?
ask me, I'm not the witness. Please ask Mr. Deputy Ruth.
Are you going to provide that at this time, sir?
If it would appease the court, I could definitely do a screen share with the video.
Mr. Thompson, are you asking him to do it? I'm not presenting your case.
Yes. I mean, he said if it pleases the court. So yes, I would like to see that because we need visible proof that that was actually me doing what
All
he
right.
said I was doing.
Okay, don't argue. Your question was, can you present, will you show the court? And he says he can, so deputy. If you can set that up without too much time and inconvenience, we can certainly watch it.
Can you see my screen?
We can. Now tell us what it is we're going to be seeing here.
So I have both dash camera as well as body camera right here. I will play the dash cam video first.
Is that what you want to see, Mr. Thompson?
I wonder, the dash cam video is what should be showing the car, correct?
Correct. It's mounted on the windshield. It points out the front of the.
Okay. Okay, that's what we would want to see.
And you said this is heading east into Augusta, do I remember that?
It's heading west currently towards Augusta on 54 highway.
Okay.
All I see is highway.
So
I don't
the
see
tail
the
light,
car.
Hey, hang on, Mr. Thompson. You asked him to play it and he's doing that.
You're not.
Deputy, how long does your video
it
run?
records, I believe, 2 minutes prior to me hitting the record button or the lights being initiated. The entire video is, I have 12 minutes remaining on this one, and that is to the end of the traffic stop.
That is because the distance from Leon, Kansas to Augusta is about 10 miles. So, as I stated in my opening statement,
Your
I've
Honor,
seen
objection.
video.
Testifying on cross.
Right.
I'm
Yes, you
stating,
can
I'm
only ask
stating
questions.
that I've seen enough of the video. It doesn't prove anything. So I've seen enough. I don't need to see anything else because the only time you're going to see the car is when we're at the stoplights in Augusta.
All right,
It's not just
Deputy,
highway.
can
It's a business district. And he had asked a question to the deputy, where were we at? He never identified that it was stoplights. He never identified that we were in a business.
Okay, you're not
district.
asking questions,
Augusta.
Mr. Thompson. You're not asking questions. You're making arguments. Now, do you want to see the video when you come into Augusta?
There's no need for me to see it coming into Augusta because I was at a complete stop at a stoplight. Once I proceeded out of the stoplight,
Okay, now, Mr. Thompson, you have to play by the rules here. And I've told you repeatedly, it's not time yet for you to argue. You'll get a chance to testify and then you'll get a chance to make your closing argument. Now, you asked.
Okay, well, I'm done. I'm finished with my questioning. I don't need to see anything else of the video.
All right.
I'm ready to proceed.
You don't have any more questions?
No more questions.
All right, Deputy or Mr. Regier, have you any questions or any response to this? Any cross-examination?
No further questions from the state, Your Honor.
All right, so we can take down the video.
I'm not sure how to.
How to close that? Oh, if you just hit the X, well,
Maybe. Stop share, let's try that.
yeah, there you go. You did it. All right, so there's no, okay, actually, Mr. Thompson was on cross-examination. There's no redirect, Mr. Regier.
None from the state, Your Honor.
All right, does the state rest?
State does so rest, Your Honor.
All right, now, Mr. Thompson, do you wish to testify? You don't have to, and it won't be used against you as evidence, but do you wish to?
No, there's no need to testify. I'll say what I need to say during closing argument.
No, you can't argue what you don't present as evidence. You can only argue what the evidence was. So do you want to testify or not?
Well, then, if the testifying allows me to elaborate on what took place.
Well, if you want the court to hear anything more than what it's already heard, or if you want to argue anything more than what, based on what you've heard, then you'll need to present that evidence. But if you just want to argue about what the defendant said, okay, but you can't be adding anything more to the evidence unless it's actually presented as evidence.
So the video that we saw, that would have been presented as evidence. That's why I asked him to show the video. The video shows nothing but highway. And you're not going to see my car until we come to the stoplight.
Okay, that sounds like argument. So you don't want to present any other testimony?
No, I mean, there's
You
nothing
can't,
else. Let's
if you
just
don't
go.
testify about the stoplight and all that, that's not evidence.
So you're saying me testifying about the stoplight would be evidence? Is that what you're indicating?
Right, right.
Okay, yes, then I'll testify to that.
All right, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, now if you'll lower your hand, and sir, I really need you to put your camera where I can see your whole face. We've had a little bit of trouble with that. Okay, so you're John Thompson and you're the defendant in this matter, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, please tell me what it is that you believe is important for the court to consider in making a ruling today.
Well, as far as I believe, this is a non-necessary stop. When I got stopped, I was sitting at a stoplight. I come out of the stoplight. I had no idea why I was being stopped until he told me that he clocked me speeding somewhere 10 miles ago. Because it's 10 miles coming out of Leon, Kansas to Augusta. I officiate basketball, and I was officiating. I had just finished officiating a basketball game, so I was on my way home to Wichita, and I come out of the stoplight, and I see lights. I'm being stopped, stating that I was speeding, and from what I could see there, I wasn't. I was within the speed limit within the area that I was in.
Anything else you'd like to say?
No, that's it, man.
All right, now Mr. Regier will have the chance to cross-examine you for your testimony. Mr. Regier, any questions?
None from the state, Your Honor.
All right, anything further, Mr. Thompson, you'd like to present as evidence?
No, that's it.
All right, both parties have rested. Brief closing argument, Mr. Regier? We'll take
Yes,
you
Your Honor.
first.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
At the very end of the day, this is a straightforward set of facts. Pursuant to KSA 8-1558 subsection A4, quote, the limit specified in the subsection or established as authorized by law shall be the maximum speed limits, and no person shall operate a vehicle at a speed in excess of such maximum limits on all other highways 65 miles per hour. On the record, the officer identified the defendant as the driver. The defendant was driving the Chrysler. The stalker radar measured the defendant's speed at 90 miles per hour. The officer has testified that the legal speed at the stop's location was 65 miles per hour. The defendant was driving the Chrysler 25 miles per hour over the posted speed limit. The stop occurred off of US 54, a highway of this state. And there is nothing in the statute that requires a contemporaneous stop. So the state would respectfully suggest any arguments that the defendant has made on that point is entirely irrelevant. The state has nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Thompson, you've been wanting to make argument. This is your chance to do that.
Based on the evidence presented, the court did not prove that I was speeding. Just because he testified that I was driving the car does not prove that I was speeding. And so therefore, even in the video that you saw, there was no visibility of a car. The only time you're going to see a car is at a stoplight. And I'm coming out of a stoplight and I was not speeding. So therefore, I requested the court dismiss this based on not proving its case.
All right, thank you both. Mr. Thompson, as you testified, there was a lot of miles, or not a lot, but a fair number of miles out there on that highway that the deputy could have checked your speed by radar going towards Augusta. As Mr. Regier said, he didn't have to stop you immediately. He could have followed you a safe distance to run your tag and make sure you weren't a wanted criminal, or to make sure that there wasn't going to be something unsafe anticipated when he stopped you. So you offered the video, but you really didn't play enough of the video. You really didn't offer enough of the video to show really much of any helpful information to the court. Mr. Thompson, where are you going? Please come back.
I'm not going anywhere. I had to pick something up.
Okay, thank you. Now, if you put your camera back down, please, so we can see you. All right, thank you, sir. So at this time, I believe that there is evidence to show that you were speeding 90 and a 65. The officer testified to the speed limit of 65. This court can certainly use its common experience of having driven that road many times. I know it is a 65 mile per hour zone. The question is, were you speeding 90? The officer testified he's trained and experienced at using the radar, that the radar was working properly, and that you were going 90 miles per hour. So I will find you guilty. The scheduled fine is $150. with 108 in court costs, for a total due of $258. You can either pay that online, or I can give you some time to pay that. If you can't pay it today, you do have up to 14 days to appeal to the Kansas Court of Appeals. If you do appeal, your appeal bond will be $258 in cash. Mr. Regier, is there anything else that we need to address from the state's perspective?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Mr. Thompson, anything from your perspective we need to address?
Yeah, I need to understand what you're saying. You saying there's 14 days to pay the fine?
No.
Or is there a payment?
No. You have 14 days to appeal the decision to the Kansas Court of Appeals.
I'm not going to appeal the decision. That's a waste of time.
All right. How much time do you need to pay the $258? Can you pay that today, or would you like some time?
Give me 90 days.
All right. That must be paid in 90 days, 90 days from today. That'd be no.
Can I get documentation on that? Can somebody mail me something, email me something?
As far as that, you have till November 16th.
Mm-hmm. So
All
I
right.
can know exactly who and what I'm contacting to pay, so I don't have to drive all the way to El Dorado.
Mr. Regier, could you do a journal entry showing that he has until November 16th, 2023 to pay his fines and costs, and put in there the payment options such as paykscourts.com and the clerk's address? And then make sure he gets a copy of that sent to him. Do we
Your
have,
Honor-
excuse me?
Your Honor, the journal entry will be prepared in my office to reflect the court's order.
Okay. And do we have your,
Okay.
do we have your
My
current
email
address?
address, yes. I
Well,
can reiterate it for you.
I was thinking we'd send it through regular mail. You're
Okay.
saying- You're saying you'd rather have it through email?
No, regular mail is fine.
Regular mail, all right.
What the address that's on the citation would be the address to mail it to.
Okay, can you do that as well, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, just to be clear, if is the court ordering that the journal entry besides the 90 days to include the website to pay off the case? Or is
I'm
the
asking
court
that you
only-
do that. I'm asking that you show where he can make payment. That he has 90 days to pay and that he can pay through paykscourts.com or the clerk of the district court.
Your Honor, I will put a note in the file.
All right, so if you don't get that paid in 90 days, Mr. Thompson, the state of Kansas and Topeka through the Department of Revenue will most likely suspend your driver's license. And it will go to collections where a collection agent will have judgment to enforce the $258. They'll add a percentage to it for their time and trouble. So I just want to caution you, it's very important that you get that paid by the 90 days, which is November 16th of 2023. So please try to remember that that's due so you don't get yourself in a bind with it. You have any questions about it, sir?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much. We will be in recess at this time. Mr. Thompson is excused. Deputy Ruth is excused. And Mr. Regier and Ashley, I believe that's the last case on this docket. Is that correct?
I believe so, Your Honor.
Yes.
All right, thank you all very much. This docket is adjourned.